was fun.
Say close up, Barb. Close up.
No, don't close up. Back to the room. Actually, when I asked my son to burn the spirit in the sky for me, he wrote "not dead" on it. I just thought it's typical for a kid, even though he's 29. But he's right. I realize he's right. Spirit in the sky is not dead. He's very much alive. And today's a great day, and Spirit in the Sky has given us a great day. So this morning I'd like to talk about the art of living, which is achieving a positive quality life within your quantity of life. And I have this little booklet written by Dr. Robert J. McCracken. And it was given to me as an ordination gift by Sharon. And I really appreciate this book. And I know it meant a lot to Sharon because it was in your family for a long time. And it looks at me, it looks like it's looking at me saying, read me. And inside there's a bookmark. I don't know if you knew there was a bookmark. It's an old one. It's actually a recipe. So I looked it up and it says, Barbara's cheesecake. So I don't know if that's a coincidence. But Barbara's idea of Barbara's cheesecake is getting in the car and driving to the store. It comes out perfect every time. The Spirit in the Sky has given us our body, our soul, and spirit. And we know what our body is, but sometimes we get a little confused about the difference between our soul and our spirit. So I just thought I'd give you a brief explanation of the two and how they work together, actually how they all work with the body as well. So spirit is the core and heart of ourselves. It is pure energy and it represents our spiritual will. It is the primary and typical personhood that cannot be taken from us or added to us without changing us from who we are. It's a part of where we communicate with Source, Spirit in the Sky, and we can call it God consciousness as it joins with Source. It has the desire to experience through personal knowledge and events, and is the progress and development toward the universe. The soul is your mind. It's your intellect, the way you think, react, and respond to subjects and matters of life. It's who you are and your beliefs. It consists of intelligence and understanding, which helps us in the present state of existence and emotions that continue from the senses. And since it's man's own self and demonstrates their personality, it's called self-consciousness. So the relationship with all three, with the body as well. With spirit, we hold contact with the spiritual world and the spirit of Source. Spirit cannot work directly upon the body, it needs a way, and that's where the soul comes in by touching of the spirit with the body. Spirit sends its thoughts to the soul, and the soul trains the body to act upon Spirit's instructions and directions. Soul is the meeting point of spirit and the body. And Source, or the God of your understanding, Source's words and messages flow from your spirit through your soul and into your body and then out to the universe. And as we know, thoughts are real and they are also sent out. So from spirit, through spirit, to spirit. Does that make sense? So therefore, the spirit occupies the innermost area of place or being. And the soul lives between the spirit and the body and serves as their medium or channel. So we're all born with a body, of course, with a mind or soul, and we're all given spirit. We're all part of spirit. And when you put all three together, and use them in a positive way, you're able to have a positive quality of life to put into whatever quantity you are given. And there's so much you can do when you're open and you use all three together. And this can be called the art of living. The book states, Dr. McCracken states that happy people are those who are producing something. And bored people are those who are consuming much, producing nothing. And incidentally, that is why rest and quiet are seldom good cures for depression, like go and lie down. In most cases, that's bad advice. It's when life gets us down that, as he calls it, that great giant despair, keeps us down or tries to. It works on our gloom and magnifies our fears. We know what fear is. There's one way to defeat black moods and tempers and depression. It's to get out into the open. Find a cause and keep yourself active, or find something to absorb yourself in, some kind of an interest and needs of our fellow man. Acquire real fatigue in place of imagined exhaustion. That is getting on top of irritability and depression. And as the doctor writes in the book, little book, says a lot for a little book, by all means listen to what doctors say about your bodily health, and listen to what psychiatrists say about mental health. But remember that the soul of improvement is the improvement of soul. For that you need God, or a source. And no matter how much positive quality life you put into whatever quantity life you're given, you will experience sorrow and grief, and it's okay to feel sad, and it's okay to go rest, as these are real forms of depression and real forms of exhaustion. And it will help rest the soul. But then after you've healed, get out and do something positive. That's the best form of healing the soul. Your spirit desires so much to experience life through you, through your soul. It wants you to experience life, to do things, to live and be happy, and to leave a positive mark each day, or as I call it, a brownie point. Each day you can leave a little brownie point. That way you feel good, and so does your spirit. You create dreams. You don't wait for them to happen. Put it out there, and you will be given what you need. And accept what you are given. It takes work as well. If you want that special job, you're not going to get it sitting at home watching TV or playing computer games. If you want to meet that special someone in your life, it's not going to happen if you're waiting at home, waiting for the doorbell to ring. Fulfill them as best as you can. As an example, back when I was in my teens, I always dreamt of seeing the Bee Gees in person. Not everybody cared for them, but I liked the music. Always dreamt they'd come to town so I could see them perform in person. But it never happened, and it was something beyond my control. They had already lost a younger brother, Andy, and then they lost Morris in 2003, and then Robin in 2012. So that just left one brother, Barry. But I had put it out there. It was already out there in the universe. So I insisted it happen. And a few months ago, I saw an ad in the paper for a tribute to the Bee Gees, so I had to go. It was that class act. It was the best I was going to get. And in the room, the energy was so high. And I looked at the three men that were performing as the Bee Gees. And they did look somewhat like them. They tried to have the same personality. They sang quite a bit like them. Didn't quite hit the high notes, but it was pretty good. And I felt they must be really spiritual. to be so inspired by the Bee Gees that they put their whole heart and soul into their performance, almost to the point that it seemed like the real thing. And I looked at the young man that was impersonating Barry Gibb, and My Brother Remained. And I wondered, as a spiritualist, I wondered, does he communicate with his lost brothers? And how much he must miss the writing of songs and recording and the tours together. But then he can turn on the radio and listen to them, or put on a CD or a video. And I'm sure he's got lots of photos and great memories. And why? Why does he have all this? Because they lived. They left a mark, not only with each other, but pretty much the whole world. They fulfilled their dreams, and even today their music is staying alive. And we can do that too. We should do that. We need to use our spirit, soul, and body to do what we want to do to be happy. And I don't mean write songs and go on tours. We don't need to go that big. We can just say a few words, or email someone, or text them, or phone them, and just say a few words, or you were just thinking of them, or how much you care about them, and you'll leave a positive mark. You'll make them happy, and then you'll make yourself happy. And we don't need to build huge bridges from one place to another. We can just build a friendship and leave a positive mark. So we're going to do a little class participation, or congregation participation. That's a lot to say. And there's no test at the end, but it's just to prove how much you can make someone else happy. So when I say 1, 2, 3, go, turn to the person closest to you and exchange a smile or a hello. Exchange a handshake or a hug. And if they're cute, you can exchange phone numbers, but do it after. We're only going to have a few seconds, so. So you ready? 1, 2, 3, go.
Did anybody get you? Okay. I love all of you.
I want what she's having.
So did everyone feel the energy change in the room? Did you feel the energy rise up? And I know your spirit was feeling really good too. And even though your hello quantity time was very short, your quality time was amazing. I mean, you guys got up and hugged each other. And you left a positive mark. And you can feel good for the rest of the day when you go home. You know you've left a mark. You feel good, and the person that was next to you feels good. And you may have started to build a friendship bridge. And a couple of weeks ago, I took my mother to the Bowmanville Bowmanville Hospital. I took her to the hospital for just the eye laser treatment, a couple of zaps. And while I was standing in the waiting area, just to have a bit of quality time into whatever quantity time I was going to have, I started to talk to another woman who had brought her mother there for the same thing. And this woman came all the way from the west end of Mississauga, picked up her mom in Oshawa, and drove her to Bowmanville Hospital. And we started chit-chatting, and she was saying how her mother still lives alone in the house. She takes care of her house. She gets out and does gardening, gets right down there on her knees and gardens and runs there and drives here and drives there. And that the next day was going to be her 91st birthday. I thought, boy, she looked good for 91. And as I looked at her and all the other senior citizens sitting in a row, because it's like an assembly line, I noticed that she was the only one not wearing glasses. Not that wearing glasses is a sign of old age, but so before we left, I went up to her and I touched her on the hand and I looked at her and I smiled and I said, "Have a great birthday tomorrow." She kind of looked up at me, puzzled look on her face, and she said, "Every day is a great day. Just because it's your birthday, it doesn't make it any more different. Every day that you are given is a great day." Now there's a woman who knows the art of living. And I'm sure in her 91 years, she's seen a lot of changes and she's experienced a lot of ups and downs. But it's her positive attitude that has given her the art of living. And even at her age, she still has quality time, puts quality time into whatever quantity time she has left, doing her gardening and looking after her house and driving. If you feel your quality time isn't quite going the way you want it to, don't blame others. And especially, don't blame God. And I'm sure most of us have heard someone say at some time in your life that if there is a God, they cannot be a loving God because they would not allow these terrible things to happen. And if you studied it, you would find that 10 out of 10, or 100 out of 100 times, you'd realize it's not God's doing at all. In fact, in a lot of cases, if it has anything to do with God, it's more than likely due to the lack of God. All the killings, the wars, and bombings in Egypt, things going on in Syria and Lebanon, bullying, hate letters right here in Oshawa. Do these people really have God in their heart? Do they understand the art of living? So don't sit and wait to see how much quantity time you have been given. That's a waste of time. It's negative time. Fill whatever quantity time you have with quality time. That's positive time. Make it happen. Put your dreams out there and work at achieving them. Make yourself happy and you'll make others happy. Make others happy and you'll make yourself happy. Thank you for listening to me, and we've been given today, so make it a great day. God bless.